Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Golden Bachelorette. What is Chock Chapple's real name? What is the Golden Bachelorette finalist, Chock Chapple's real name? Though Chock is a fun nickname, does he have a full name aside from that? If so, what is it? And where did Chock come from? Who started that, and how has it stuck for so long? Keep reading for more details. What is Chock Chapple's real name? From the beginning, Chock Chapple has been a frontrunner on the Golden Bachelorette. He met Joan Vassos at Disneyland for a solo date, and they were like kids running around, wearing ears, and having a great time. They rode on all of the rides and beamed ear to mouse ear. Then, the evening culminated with a romantic dinner where Joan was dressed like Cinderella and he was her handsome prince. They shared in fireworks, and it was evident that she had developed early feelings for him. Unfortunately, his mother passed, and he had to leave for the funeral. This broke Joan, and though she tried to enjoy her other dates, her mind was on Chock and how his heart was breaking. More so, she wondered if he would return soon, if at all. By the end of the episode, he was back, and she was elated. He made it to hometowns, but viewers started to see that there was something off about Chock. The father of two has become somewhat overbearing toward Joan, and it is a tad uncomfortable. Needless to say, since Pascal Ibe was eliminated, Chock and Guy Gansard are now the final two. That being said, fans are questioning what Chock stands for, so they started a Reddit thread to ask fellow Golden Bachelorette viewers for the answer. The OP wrote this: "Where did Chock get his name? I can't figure out what this is short for and why someone would choose this name." One follower quickly jumped in and shared what they knew. "I read that his real name is Charles. Not sure where Chock came from." After seeing his real name is Charles, fans had a lot of commentary to share. He chose Chock because why? There were a handful of theories as to why Chock Chapple would go by a nickname like that rather than his biological name of Charles. One Golden Bachelorette follower said this: "From his ego, as an attempt to nickname oneself usually is. He must have felt Chock would stand out and bring him more attention than plain old Chuck. It's so ridiculous. Joan already said she needs a different name, as she can't imagine saying Chock in a moment of passion." Others felt it was just a ridiculous choice. His nickname is an insult to the name Charles. It sounds like chalk. Or maybe a sibling couldn't pronounce Chuck and it stuck. Quite a few strange nicknames start out that way. The mystery surrounding Chock Chapple's real name has been one of the most curious undercurrents of the Golden Bachelorette. From the moment Chock walked into the mansion, radiating an easy charm and carrying a confident swagger, he seemed like the kind of guy who had nothing to hide. But as the season progressed, whispers began to swirl. Was Chock really his name? Or was this bachelor hiding something behind that megawatt smile? The enigma of Chock. Chock introduced himself to Joan Vassos with a firm handshake and a grin that could melt glaciers. "Chock Chapple," he said, his deep voice resonating like a classic jazz melody. Joan was instantly intrigued. Who wouldn't be? His name sounded like a character ripped from the pages of a spy novel. Over the next few weeks, the nickname became as much a part of his persona as his love for ballroom dancing and his surprisingly impressive cooking skills. But behind the scenes, questions brewed. Is that really his name? Pascal Ibe asked during one of the men's late-night chats. It's too catchy. Like he made it up. Guy Gansard chimed in, "Yeah, it sounds like a stage name. What kind of name is Chock anyway? I mean, is it short for something?" None of the men could agree. Some speculated it was a childhood nickname that stuck, while others thought it might be a deliberate reinvention. But no one dared to ask Chock himself, not yet anyway. Joan's curiosity. Joan, ever perceptive, noticed the name chatter among the men. Over a private dinner date with Chock, she decided to broach the topic. "Chock," she said, twirling her wine glass, "you have such a unique name. Is there a story behind it? Chock chuckled, leaning back in his chair with an air of practiced ease. It's a bit of a long story, he said. Maybe I'll tell you one day. Joan raised an eyebrow. You're not going to tell me now. Not yet, he teased, his tone playful but firm. Some mysteries are better left unsolved, at least for now. Joan laughed, but a flicker of suspicion crossed her face. Chock's reluctance only deepened her curiosity. What was he hiding? The internet investigates. As the season unfolded, fans of the Golden Bachelorette took to social media to speculate about Chock's real name. Reddit threads exploded with theories. One user posted, "I bet his real name is Charles or Chuck. Chock could just be a quirky derivative." Another replied, "No way. He looks more like a Christopher. Maybe he shortened it to stand out." A third commenter had a wilder theory. What if Chock is an anagram? Like, it could stand for something. Maybe he's in witness protection. Twitter wasn't far behind. A meme featuring Chock's face and the caption, "Who even is Chock?" went viral. Fans were desperate for answers. A break in the case. It wasn't until the hometown dates that the truth began to surface. Chock invited Joan to his picturesque home in Asheville, North Carolina. The two spent the day hiking through the Blue Ridge Mountains, sharing heartfelt conversations, and enjoying a picnic with breathtaking views. But it was during the family dinner that Joan finally got her answer. Joan, Chock's sister Sarah, said as they passed around plates of barbecue, "We're so happy to meet you. Chock has told us so much about you." Joan smiled warmly. "Thank you, Sarah. It's been wonderful getting to know your brother. He's such an interesting man." Sarah laughed. "Oh, he's definitely interesting. And he's been going by Chock forever. I still remember when." "Sarah," Chock interjected, his voice carrying a hint of warning. But Joan seized the moment. "When what?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with intrigue. Sarah glanced at her brother, then back at Joan. "When he decided to ditch his real name and start calling himself Chock," she said, her tone conspiratorial. Joan leaned in, her heart racing. "And what is his real name?" Chock sighed, realizing there was no escaping the revelation. "It's Chester," he admitted, a sheepish grin spreading across his face. The story behind the name. The table erupted in laughter. "Chester!" Joan exclaimed, covering her mouth in surprise. "I did not see that coming." "Chock, or Chester," explained the story. "I was named after my grandfather, Chester Chapple," he said. "He was a great man, but growing up, I hated how old-fashioned the name sounded. Kids used to tease me, calling me Chester the Jester. So when I was in college, I started going by Chock. It just stuck." Joan nodded, her laughter subsiding. "It's actually a great name," she said. "But I have to admit, I kind of like Chester too. It suits you in a way." Chock, or Chester, smiled, his eyes meeting Joan's. "You can call me whatever you want," he said. The aftermath. The revelation of Chock's real name sent shockwaves through Bachelor Nation. Fans were divided. Some adored the name Chester, calling it endearing and classic. Others insisted they couldn't imagine him as anything other than Chock. Memes of Chester the Cheetah, the mascot of Cheetos, flooded social media, much to Chock's amusement. "Honestly, I don't mind," Chock said during an interview on Good Morning America. "I've been Chock for so long that it feels like a part of me. But Chester is who I am at my core, and I'm proud of it." Joan's perspective. Back at the mansion, Joan reflected on the revelation. "I think it's wonderful that Chock shared that part of himself with me," she said in a confessional. "It's a reminder that everyone has layers. And honestly, I think Chester might be my favorite version of him yet." The other men, however, weren't as gracious. Pascal couldn't resist teasing Chock during a group date. "Hey, Chester," he said with a smirk. "Can you pass the champagne?" Chock took it in stride, raising his glass in a mock toast. "To new beginnings," he said, his grin unwavering. What's in a name? As the Golden Bachelorette nears its finale, Chock's, or Chester's, journey continues to captivate viewers. His willingness to embrace both his past and his present has endeared him to Joan and the audience alike. And while the mystery of his name has been solved, one question remains: will Joan choose Chester Chapple as her golden love story? Only time will tell.